Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, what do you think?
I love your background. That looks so good.
I'm having these times where, this whole quarantine thing where, I can only go drive my car so many places, and then I get these homesick memory moments, and I thought, well, I got to put this up for Cyndi.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. That is awesome. I love it.
It is a collection from, if you don't, that picture is actually 1996 Road King with my lowrider. And my lowrider is what inspired my dad to get addicted. And he bought the Road King.
I love it. I love it. The Road King is my favorite bike, but I used to have a lowrider. I just love it.
Yeah, that was actually my entry was a Sportster, and then into the lowrider, big twin, and then all right, welcome back to Wealth Protector TV and Personal Pension Radio, wherever you might be listening to this on iHeartMedia, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you might be. Welcome back. I'm joined actually today by Cyndi Flynn, Hackler, Flynn and Associates. Hello, Cyndi.
Hi, Kraig. Good to see you.
Yes, it's fantastic. We're doing this quarantine video. Where are you hunkered down today?
We're in Pasadena.
All right, Pasadena, California. The legendary song, titles, all those various things. And I'm out in the front yard with my old Harley Davidsons in my memories.
I love it. I love it. I love Harleys.
Outstanding. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. You're not going too crazy, but it sounds like you're staying really busy. You've got some stuff coming up even later this week, I think, with some webinars and various things that you're doing. Yeah,
we're doing a lot of webinars right now too.
Yeah, outstanding. Same here. We're just getting questions coming in the door like crazy, I guess it would be. It's just amazing the amount of activity that we've had. And I'm sure that in your firm that you're seeing the same thing. With this coronavirus and everything, I thought it was extremely important to get as many perspectives as we can for business owners, and what other business owners are going through, and what attorneys who specialize in your world, for example, are going through to help their clients. So maybe what we could do to start is to give a little introduction on what you do, what your firm does, and then I've got a few questions to throw your way.
Sure, that sounds great. So my name is Cyndi Flynn, and my firm is Hackler, Flynn and Associates. We focus all on employment defense, where we are representing business owners only in a wide variety of things, everything from advice to counsel to class action litigation defense. Oh. And so everything on the litigation side and on the transactional side. During this time, we are talking clients through furloughs and layoffs and what they can do now to protect themselves. And so we've, just like you, been trying to pump out a bunch of information interpreting, FFCRA and the CARES Act, just to make sure our clients are well informed and are making the right decisions for their businesses.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually, when you say that, it's just a great reminder that every time we have any situation like this, it just adds another series of acronyms that we all get to juggle, right? All the various lists, the book of letters in Washington just keeps getting thicker and thicker. As you've gone through this now for the last several weeks and weeks of this COVID-19 crisis, mm-hmm. What are you seeing in your practice that has changed? I mean, kind of give me a feedback on that. I'm just curious.
Yeah. So, I mean, our firm is pretty much set up, has always been set up to where all of the employees in-house have worked from home or had the ability to work from home. So nothing has changed like internally in that sense. But what has changed is the type of information we're giving clients. You know, the economy was doing so well. So over the last several years, we focused on hiring and webinars on how to hire correctly and protect yourself and things that you want to make sure you're having your employees sign, like class action waivers and arbitration agreements. And now it's all been focused on layoffs and sick leave and vacation time, and furloughing and unemployment. And so the subject matter that we're advising clients on has changed. And then also, you know, the courts are closed. A lot of the courts are,
from a legal perspective,
yeah,
actually have the primary repository of all your activity closed.
right. And I mean, I owe jury duty, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, like,
in fact, I think there's an important piece that you brought up here, and I talk about this on my podcast a number of times over the years. It's this idea of evolving the way you work and being prepared for things like this. And I've always loved that about your practice, that when you started your practice, you started with this foundation of being okay with working remote and working virtual. You've got a great team. And so this transition must not have been that difficult on your side. So that's great.
Yeah. Like internally, it's been flawless, truly. You know, we have a staff of 10, and so everyone's been able to adapt exceedingly well.
So question that comes to mind is, what are the types of actual inquiries, the questions that you're getting now coming your way, right? We know the content you've been putting out, but what's on the mind of business owners, your clients who are calling in and saying,
Well, you know, so many businesses had to shut their doors so quickly. And so they didn't, if they were non-essential, of course, and then some essential ones didn't know that they were essential because they were part of the supply chain. So they shut their businesses down, and then they want to reopen, and they don't know if they did terminations. They don't know if they did what they did was a layoff or a furlough. So it's talking clients through that. And then also what's come up in the last week is, you know, for businesses who did shut down, their employees are now on unemployment, but they want to bring them back, right? But the employees don't necessarily want to come back because they're making more on unemployment right now due to, you know, the federal incentive of giving everyone the $600 in addition per week. So It's like this whole balancing act that we're doing right now of to bring people in, but to keep company culture up and talking clients through that. So that's the biggest thing we're doing this week.
I had not thought of that particular angle, that folks actually getting to the point where they want to bring people back. And then now you're not fighting with someone else who is let's say a headhunter trying to get your best people.
Right.
You've got the unemployment administration giving them an extra $600 a week, and you've either got to give them oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So here's a question though. What are the mistakes, right? The pitfalls that you're seeing, that you're really cautioning your clients to beware of, right? The mistakes that you don't want your clients to make. What are you seeing out there? What are your top key items?
So one of the things is, you know, we talked to a lot of clients through having their employees continue to work, but work from home. Right. And in that package of having your employees work from home, you know, a lot of business owners don't realize that they also have to pay for their employees' cell phone and internet usage.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a business expense. And the law says that just because an employee already has internet or a phone at home, that the business cannot have a windfall and be able to benefit and pass along operating expenses to their employees. And so I think that that's going to be a huge area where plaintiffs' attorneys in the next 6 to 12 months realize that, businesses were too quick to have everybody work remotely to stay in business and then not realize that they need to be paying their employees or reimbursing them for those expenses.
Oh my gosh, that is one that I've not heard. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard being cautious about making sure that you have verification in writing or email.
Yes.
Your employees are taking breaks and lunches.
Yes, absolutely. That's another thing too. I mean, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but definitely make sure you're having all of your employees who are non-exempt have a sign in and out sheet for breaks and lunches when they clock in for the day, when they clock out.
Can you do that via email? How are you telling your clients to actually document that?
I mean, you can do it via email. I suggest you just come up with a simple Excel spreadsheet and have them turn it in once a week.
Oh,
I mean, keep it simple. It doesn't need to be fancy, but just something so that if they say, oh, well, I was responding to emails at 11 o'clock at night from you, and then I was doing all this off the clock work, that you're not hit with something later on.
Right.
But just one other thing I want to say about that is if you have even exempt employees working from home, so they meet, the requirements of being an exempt status in California.
Right.
If you were to need to furlough them to half the time or something, let's say you have somebody who's making $90,000 a year and you wanted them to work half the time because, business just isn't as fruitful as it was 6 months ago or even 2 months ago.
Right.
You cut their time in half and their salary in half, but then they're making $45,000 a year instead of 90, and then they fall below the minimum salary threshold. And so they're no longer exempt.
Wow.
You have
that's a huge
treat them as non-exempt. Yeah, exactly. So there are just some cautions that you want to run by your attorneys before
Those
you.
darn lawyers. Man.
I know. Oh, another thing we're seeing too is those businesses who are able to stay open, and if they have employees who are 70 or older or even 60 and older, they are so innocently age discriminating against them. They are asking them not to come in or to do more tests. And all of these things are going to come back and bite you later on in an age discrimination case. And so, just be very cautious. I know you're doing it from a good place in your heart, of we care about your health. We want you to stay healthy. Don't come into work. But then again, you're in the same sentence, you're age discriminating. So,
right. See, that is a direction that I never would have imagined, right? Again, no good deed goes unpunished, right?
Right.
And on that track, see, I personally believe, because our law firm specializes in asset protection for high net worth individuals and business owners.
Right.
I personally believe, and we as a firm believe, that litigation, civil litigation, being sued by that person at the grocery store that, you bumped into their car or bumped into them, those types of, we could call them petty lawsuits, they're going to be coming in droves and just exponential increases on the personal liability claims. How do you think things are going to turn out for litigation in the future for business owners?
I think it's going to increase. Honestly, I think in the next 6 to 12 months, assuming you make it through COVID and the pandemic, just like internally, you will be sued by one of your current or former employees at some point. Kraig, I had 5 clients come to me in the last 30 days with employees they have let go of who have hired a lawyer and who have sent them a demand letter. 5
Really?
Already. I mean, this is brand new. Somebody got hit with a demand letter within 24 hours, somebody else within 3 days, somebody else within 5 days.
Wow.
So it's just going to continue to increase, and we need to do everything we can to protect our clients who are business owners just trying to make it, make it through this.
No, that's incredible. And I guess on that note, I want people to be able to reach out and connect with you. Now, this is going to go out on YouTube on the grand interweb, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. But how would people contact you and your team? What's the best way to get in touch if they have questions about reviewing their own preparedness for post-COVID, if you will?
Yeah. So our website is hacklerflynnlaw.com. Anyone can email me on any of the things I talked about today. I'm happy to respond back to them, give them any advice. My email address is Cyndi, CINDY, @hacklerflynnlaw.com. And that's probably the best way to contact me because I do a lot of webinars and during the day. And so I usually respond to emails like in between. It's a lot quicker than a phone call sometimes.
Now that's perfect, Cyndi. We'll put that we'll actually have that flash across the screen. We'll have connections made in our LinkedIn and Facebook and our YouTube, etc. Thank you for taking the time. I know you've been crazy busy at this time, and I really do appreciate it. I'm sure we'll probably do this again as things evolve.
Yeah, I'd love to come back anytime. Thanks so much, Kraig, for having me. Always a pleasure. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio podcast. We took notes for you, so if you missed any part of the show, you can find a full transcript of each episode at personalpensionradio.com. Be sure to download your free retirement income crisis report at personalpensionradio.com. While you're at it, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening. Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.